Yeah. Thank you. Welcome in. Hello, Stacy. And I have this beautiful young lady right here and my wife right next to me. Beautiful lady and beautiful woman. Because let me just make sure my sound's coming through. It's not. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me. I don't know why. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can someone tell me if they can hear me? Yes. Okay, great. Sorry. For some reason, I can't hear mine. This is the reason that I haven't done a webinar in a while. This is Madeline Joy. Madeline Joy Stanley is here to hang out just for a second. Then Mom is taking her for a walk, but I wanted everyone to be able to meet the reason. Oh, you okay? The reason for me not doing a webinar for a while. And now we're back. And you can hear she's got a little bit of a breathing thing going on. She was in the NICU for the first 2 weeks and gave us quite the scare. She's staring. Hi. But tonight you're here because you want to learn how to increase your occupancy. But I needed to start off with a little bit of a smile for everyone. So there you go. Thank you, babe. Okay, have fun. Have fun. Can you close that? Can you close that for me? Okay, here we go. So welcome in, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for the nice notes there. I'm seeing so much love already in the comments. Got a fun topic tonight, really fun topic. And I was sitting here thinking about like, okay, I want to come back with a bang to doing some of these webinars because it's been a while. So I was like, what's a cool topic? And so I started really thinking about it. I even asked ChatGPT. I'm like, what do people want to know about? And one of the number one things that ChatGPT told me was that people want to know how to increase their revenue and increase their occupancy on Airbnb. And I was like, well, yeah, duh, of course. So I can definitely teach on that because we're consistently for the last 4-5 years, we've been consistently above everyone in our market, 15 to sometimes 25% in regards to our occupancy. And so I started to look at like, well, what do we do that really makes us stand out from the rest? And so that's what I'm going to present to you tonight. And some of it is going to be for some of you that have been doing this for a while. You might be like, well, I already knew that, but come here with an open mind, ready to learn, because there's going to be those little things. And I call it, ironically, with my baby just leaving here, the pacifier effect. I got this from my friend Travis Chappell. You don't always jump on one of these to have like gold nugget from minute 1 to minute 90, right? Which today we're with you for 75 minutes, but you come for like, some of it's just good refreshers. And then some of it is like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of it that way. I'm so glad I got that one little nugget. And that pacifier effect, right? The baby drops a pacifier and they're trying to put it back in their mouth. They're hitting the side of their face. They're hitting their forehead. And you just take what you already know and you say, no, this is how you put it in their mouth. The baby has an aha moment of like, oh, that was easy. That's the kind of stuff tonight. To me, for those of you that are seasoned, you're going to be like, okay, it was that one thing that really got me back on track. Now, for some of you that are brand new tonight, you're going to probably be like, aha moments left and right. So I already see a bunch of people in the chat. Use this chat. Let me just set the tone for tonight. We're going to be on here for the next 60 minutes. I'm going to give you pure, great information. But I need some participation. I like seeing the chat firing off as I'm doing this. There's 2 parts of the chat. If you notice, you go up to the top there, you see chat, and then you see right next to it Q&A only. If you have a question, please post it in Q&A only. If you're just wanting to give some affirmation of like, oh, that was gold, or maybe Britt wants to connect with Betsy and Stacy wants to connect with Reg, use the chat for that reason. Like you can do that. And by the way, when we're in the chat, keep this all 100% positive. And Beryl, I just saw you said, no, you can't hear me. And that's ironic, right? I see the joke there. Keep it all positive. Let's have some fun. Let's encourage each other. Let's make each other better tonight. And if you don't agree with something, that's okay. You don't have to agree with everything that I do. By the way, guys, there's a lot of ways to skin the cat in this game. You don't have to do everything I do. But if you can get some value from tonight, that's my goal out of this tonight. So welcome in, Rich. Welcome in, Judy, Stacy, Britt, Betsy, Samantha, everyone. Usually I like to have a little fun in the chat, but since we showed Madeline, Joy, we've already got the chat firing here, and now I want to just go straight into it. So again, 60 minutes, pure information. I'm going to offer you a little freebie at the end of this, but you have to stay until the end to get the freebie. And yes, I'm going to give you an offer to be a part of some really cool stuff that we have going on, a part of our private community. But guess what? By the end of tonight, I'm not actually going to ask you for a single dollar. This isn't one of the webinars that you jump on and everyone's just, charging you hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars. You can be a part of something really cool by the end of tonight for absolutely no money. And that's what I'm excited about. So we also are going to do a Q&A at the end. So it'll go presentation here. Then I'm going to show you the offer plus the freebie, and then it'll be Q&A. And I'm going to have a hard cutoff at 5:15 tonight. That is Pacific time. It's 4:05 right now. We're going up to 5:15. But for now, what I want to do is I want to start with a couple questions to all of you. So we just dropped into this poll right now. You should see it just show up. If you're watching on your computer, it's on the right side. If you're watching on your phone, it just dropped down below. My question to you is, has your occupancy decreased in the last 4 to 6 months? Yes, a lot. Yes, but not a lot. No, it's about the same. No, it's actually increased, or not applicable. I don't have any properties yet. Go ahead and answer that question. Which one is the most applicable to you? We're coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ending the poll. This is pretty even across the board. So the majority of you actually, though, say that you've actually seen a decrease in occupancy. So about 52% of you, whether it was a lot or not a lot, say that you saw a decrease in occupancy. 16% of you say, no, it's actually about the same. 20% of you actually say increase. And then there's about 10% of you tonight that don't have any properties yet. And that's awesome. You're going to learn, like I said, a ton tonight because of that. So 52% of you need to learn tonight how to increase your occupancy. And then the other about 36 to 46% of you are saying, hey, I'm actually doing pretty well. I just would like a few extra tips. So that's cool to see. We got about essentially 50-50 here. So let me go ahead and reset this, and let me ask you one more question, and then we'll get started tonight. So the big question, what do you want to learn tonight? Is it how to increase your occupancy? Is it actually how to increase your revenue, right? Because that's probably even better, right? Is it a pricing strategy to use my business? Is it a better understanding of the Airbnb algorithm, or is it all of the above? So we'll give you another about 10 seconds on that one. I'm going to drop over to the chat here, see if anyone says anything. What's up, Michael from Brooklyn? What's up, Lynette from Yellow Room in Innisfil, Ontario? I haven't heard of that one. Hello, Rich from Florida. What's going on? Okay, let's go ahead and end this poll now. And not surprising, whenever we do these all of the aboves, typically more than half of you want to do all the above, and that's what we have here. 66% of you want to do all of them. 14% just increase occupancy, 12% increase revenue, 2% of you want to learn a pricing strategy, and 6% of you want to understand the algorithm better. Okay, with all of that being said, let's not hesitate anymore. Let's go ahead and get started in the presentation, and I will make my screen shared. Turn screen share on. Oh, they changed this. Here we go. Okay, and share. I'm going to turn off my video. And all right, you should see an entire screen now. Now, just so you know, if you throw anything in the chat or the Q&A right now, I'm not going to be able to see it right now because I have a full screen up. So just be patient with me. If you throw something in the chat, if you throw something in the Q&A, I will get to it when we get to that part of the entire thing. But right now, tonight, increase your occupancy by 20% without dramatically, especially decreasing your nightly rate. So what makes me qualified to talk about this? Well, I want to start with a story for those of you that did actually watch the video that I sent out yesterday before this webinar. You probably already saw this, so I will just zoom through this, and some of you might already have been following my stuff for a while, so you probably already know. But my name's Kyle Stanley, Fearless Investor on the YouTube channel and podcast. Been doing Airbnb since 2015, full time since 2019. And this was a story. This picture actually is a story for me because in 2016, when I took this photo, I was with my dad, who has since passed, but I had made a decision that I was moving back home to be with him as he was not doing so hot. He had bone cancer and was, kind of given a timeline of about 3 to 7 years that he was going to survive, and been dealing with prostate cancer for about 25 years of his life. And, for me, family's number one. So I said, well, I'm in Arizona, you're in California. It doesn't make sense for me to be in Arizona anymore. So I'm moving. Well, what I can say is I was also one other behind the scenes thing here. You see smiles on both of our faces, but obviously with the health scares going on with my dad, there was also financial scares with me. I wasn't in real estate. I wasn't in Airbnb. I was a business owner, and I was doing a number of different things just to try to make ends meet. But for the first time in my life, I was actually in debt. I owed more than I owned, and that was a scary moment. So what I can say is since I moved back to California, life dramatically changed for me. The first 9 years of my entrepreneurial journey were behind a camera. I was either a sports anchor or I was making videos for high school athletes to help them get recruited to play in college. That was the business that I ran. And I was a worker bee. I was doing a lot of stuff, but I was just barely making ends meet. I met my beautiful wife right after I started my Airbnb business. And now, as you saw, we just had our first daughter. But shortly after I moved back, because I started doing some things that were, I would say, better return on my time. I still hadn't gotten into real estate yet, but I was just learning and honing my skills. I was actually able to take my dad on vacation, one of the last vacations he ever went on, to New York, and we went to this Mets game, which was pretty cool. Today, and as you can see, I love my dog, Rizzo, named by my favorite player on the Cubs, Anthony Rizzo, huge Cubs fan. But this little photo right here was of me earlier last year. And it was the third time that I was on stage talking about my expertise in Airbnb and short-term rentals on stage in front of a large crowd. And so that's who you're dealing with. I've been through all the crap, guys. I've been the struggling entrepreneur. I've been the person that had the 9-to-5 job and was tired of being undervalued. I've been through everything. I'm not an overnight success. I'm not someone who was given a bunch of opportunities to be successful. I had to go find them. And when I found short-term rentals and I made it a thing, I always knew whenever I made it, I was going to share what I learned because it was something that I thought other people deserve to know. And so that's why I'm passionate about sharing this. So today, my current portfolio and who you're going to learn from today, I have 50 properties-ish in 2 different markets in Central California. We actually just sold our ownership in a different business that was in Arizona as well. So for some of you, you're like, I thought you had 70. I did. I sold those 20 off to my business partner that was in Arizona. Now I'm just focused in California. I own 8, and the rest are other people's properties. Okay, other people's properties. If you're not familiar with that strategy, we're not going to talk about it tonight, but that's what allowed me to grow this juggernaut of a 7-figure business so quickly, from 0 to 70 properties in about 3.5 years. Now, again, scaled back since then. I've coached over 600 active hosts in the short-term rental industry. Okay, people are getting results because of what I'm teaching out there. My team, though, allows me to only have to work 3 to 5 hours per week in my STR business. And that team is compiled of a chief of operations, who's literally my right-hand woman, 1 cleaning manager who manages all of our 12-plus cleaners. We have 4 VAs in the Philippines. We have 1 inspector/quality control manager that covers both of our markets in California. And we have tons of great vendors, subcontractors, designers, bookkeepers, everything that you can imagine that allows this business to run without me having to babysit it. And I'll net anywhere between 25 to, really as a company, I should say, we net anywhere between $25,000 to $50,000 on a high month. But the reason you're here tonight, right, is because of these results. And I posted about this. You probably saw this photo already. But what we're looking at is my results over the last 365 days in my market. So we're at 81% occupancy, which is 19.2% higher than similar listings. And we're not sacrificing the nightly rate. We're right around the market average, which some of you might be like, well, you should be making more. Well, here's the thing is that some of our properties, you have to keep this in mind. Some of our properties deserve to be making a lot less than the monthly average, and some deserve to be making a lot more than the monthly average in our area. So there's a lot of factors that go into the fact that we're right around average in our area. So believe me, that is a win. And that's the reason why we have a thriving business still, is because we're making way more than our competition. While our competition is leaving left and right, we're saying, hey, we're doing pretty well. And that's what I'm trying to teach you tonight, is how to be able to sustain higher occupancy without sacrificing your nightly rate. So before we get started in the actual value, I just want to give you a little bit of some encouragement. So I want to talk about really quickly, if your occupancy has decreased, 52% of you tonight say that your occupancy has decreased. You're not alone. Okay. That is absolutely a industry standard for what a lot of people have been talking about. I'm going to be honest. My occupancy has decreased as well, but it hasn't decreased dramatically. It's decreased a little bit. Okay. But I'm still well above my competition. That's the idea here, is that if we can outlast our competition, the competition will leave while we stay in and take the results of all of the decreased properties that have left and the decreased saturation. And we're already seeing it. I actually did a webinar on it a few months ago. In most markets, you're seeing since Q3 of 2022, 15, 20, 25% of the market is leaving. So that means that if that trend continues, there's going to be more business for everyone to go around. So patience is a virtue. I will tell you, first of all, if you felt like you had to drop your nightly rate dramatically just to get bookings, you're not alone. Okay. People are doing the same thing and they're starting to weigh, is this even worth it? Should I turn it into a long-term rental? You're not alone, but you're going to learn some tactics tonight to help you not have to do that. And lastly, if you're feeling like you're a victim of saturation, right? People in 2019 to 2021 jumped into this industry like no one's business, right? Like everyone was thinking, this is the quick buck. This is the fast, easy dollar. This is the get rich quick thing. And so what happens when everyone is going towards it? I think Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett talks about it, right? If everyone's going to it, run. And if everyone's running from it, go to it, like, or take a look at it at least. And that's where we're at right now, is that everyone was running to it. And so a lot of people got hurt. A lot of people, bought the $1 million property based on the fact that, oh my gosh, look at the amount of money that someone's making in 2021 and they got hurt in 2022. Now those people are leaving, and a lot of people are leaving, but you tonight are here saying, hey, I see everyone running away, but I think there's still opportunity. And that's where you're going to be able to learn about it tonight. So what I'm going to address, 3 things: increasing your occupancy, increasing your revenue, and how to use the Airbnb algorithm to get more money. These are the 3 main concepts I'm teaching you tonight. So without further ado, let's get into it. My goal tonight, setting the stage, show you that you don't have to decrease your nightly rates or buy super expensive amenities to keep making great money. So everything I'm about to show you is going to back up this belief. I know a lot of you are like, well, I'd love to get more revenue and more occupancy, but I know I have to add the hot tub. Not necessarily, guys. Not necessarily. You don't have to go out and spend $5,000 to $8,000 just to increase your occupancy. You also don't necessarily have to drop your rates a crazy amount in order to get booked. And here is how we're doing this. So pens out, ready to take notes. Here we go. How to increase your occupancy. This is number 1. Let's go ahead and talk about defining your avatar guest. And yes, it's this blue person from the movie. No, that's not what an avatar guest is. And I know a lot of you probably right now are like, I know what an avatar is. I have an avatar. Well, I'm going to be willing to bet that maybe only a couple of you have actually done the exercise that I'm about to take you through. And if you do this, I'm telling you, the decisions that you make in your business will be ever changed for the better. So let's go into it. Your avatar guest, it all starts with your guest. You have to define who this person is. And these are the major questions you're going to define. And then we're going to do a little quick exercise. You can do it at home, or you can just write down what you're going to do when we get off the call here tonight. But who are they? Like, literally get down to who, how old are they? Do they have kids? Are they family people? Are they single? Are they bachelors? Are they, in their mid-20s and looking to go party? Like, who is your direct avatar? And, I'm not going to get into how we figure that out either. A lot of it is just from booking people and just experiencing it and getting your actual portfolio going and you can learn along the way, but there's also ways that you can learn that ahead of time. How do they travel? Do they travel by car? Do they travel by plane? Do they like to go first class? Do they like to travel in luxury? Do they like to, make sure that every single one of their places is, on 2 acres so that they have pure privacy and all they can hear is crickets at night, right? Who do they travel with? Is it their family? Is it their friends? Is it their coworkers? How many times per year do they travel? And is it for fun or is it for business? And that's going to define a lot of things about our guests. And you're going to see how all this comes together here in a second. What do they need from their accommodations? What specifically does this person look for when they go on to Airbnb? And we're going to really dive into that here in a second. And then why would they travel with you? That's the biggest question, right? If you understand everything about this person, then why you? So here's the exercise. I'm going to give you our exact avatar for our 2 different types of properties. We have 2-bedroom through 4-bedroom, which attracts a certain type of person. And then we have a 1-bedroom and studio that attracts a certain type of person. So let's go into it. Our 2 to 4-bedroom avatar. This is literally what you're going to do tonight. You can do it right now, or you can do it when we get off the call. I'm going to encourage you to do it when you get off the call so you can just digest this. Here's what it is. Hey, Stephanie. Whoa, she has a name? Yes, she has a name. You have to give your avatar a name. You have to make them real. Stephanie's a 35-year-old mom with 2 kids, a hardworking husband. Stephanie moved away from her home, Fresno, for her husband's job. Again, that's where I operate, Fresno. But she comes back to Fresno with her family twice a year to see her mom, dad, siblings, and friends. Going on, when Stephanie comes to town, she wants to know she will have a spacious home with accommodations for both her kids and her working husband. She looks for a pool, a work desk, and some fun games for the kids, maybe even a playroom. She also needs to know that her family is safe, so she looks into the nicer parts of town where she's already familiar with. Okay, so we have a picture of who Stephanie is. We know how Stephanie's going to shop for her travel because we've identified that this is our person. So if I go and I find out that Stephanie is my type of person, am I going to get the basic small 2-bedroom house in the bad part of Fresno that is, dirt cheap for rent for me, which seems really great, and so I think I'm going to make a lot of money? No, because that's not who my avatar is. If I want to attract random people every once in a while who are going to pay low amounts, or maybe I'll be really low on occupancy because I'm not serving my avatar, then I'll go do that. But if you want to serve your avatar and you want to give the people what they need, give the people what they need. You know what I mean? That's what you're going to do. So when we get a property that comes across our desk like this for Stephanie, we know this is Stephanie's jam. This is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, spacious, high ceilings. It's got a pool. It's got the kitchen. It's got, let me just go down to the backyard because this is where the magic happens. And by the way, it's got the work desk for the husband. Check out this backyard, guys. Like, if this doesn't scream family and fun with the kids, we got a swing set. We got the string lights. We got the dining area. We got the fire pit. We got the barbecue. Can you just picture like a nice summer night, June? The kids are on the swing. Aunts and uncles are here at the dining table. Dad's making the burgers while mom and her couple friends are over here around the fire pit. Like, that's awesome. Then keep on moving forward. How about this? A little playroom for the kids too. It's outdoors. It's got a little rock climbing area. It's got a few games in there. This is perfect for Stephanie. No wonder why this property, a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, while most people in the area are getting 50 to 60% occupancy and probably around, $150 a night, this one is getting 80 to 90% occupancy and over $250 per night. That's the averages on this house. Do you understand why identifying the avatar is going to help us to know that this is the kind of house that we'll spend some money on, either purchasing, arbitraging, or as a co-host managing for our owner, and with confidence tell them that it's going to do well because it's serving our avatar, right? So that's number one. The next one is our studio and 1-bedroom avatar. So here's what this one sounds like. Rachel's a traveling nurse. She loves her job and considers herself a bit of a nomad because she's on the road more often than she is home. All right. So Rachel's got a little bit of some swag to her. I like this. With a job like this, it's tough for Rachel to settle down and get married. So for companionship, she brings her dog Bella with her on her 13-week nursing contracts. She's given a small amount, $2,500 a month for living stipend. So she's not looking for luxury. She just wants to know that it's a safe, reliable home and a reliable host to give her a comfortable stay. And it has a washer dryer, a kitchen, a TV, and a bathroom that work. An extra bonus is a private backyard for her dog. So she knows that Bella can roam around the yard while she is at work. All right. So how does this help me? I'll tell you how this helps me. I get people all the time coming to me saying, hey, I just bought a house. It's by Clovis Community Hospital. I think it's perfect for midterm rentals and for nurses. I would love for you to manage that. Great. How many bedrooms does it have? What's your mortgage? Oh, it's got 5 bedrooms and my mortgage is $4,000 a month. And I'm not gonna, my nurse travels for only $2,500 a month. Why would I go and buy a house for $4,000 mortgage a month if my avatar can only afford $2,500 a month? Plus, they want privacy, right? Rachel just wants to be with her dog. She doesn't want to be in a place with 4 other nurses or maybe some random other people. So this is why our nurses are only going to be our avatar for our studios and our 1 bedrooms. This is why this property kills. So if I know that they're going to spend upwards of $2,000 to $2,500 a month and I'm going to arbitrage, this is part of a 5-unit, which by the way, I just released a video on my YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out, this is that exact complex. It's a 5-unit complex, rents $900 a month for me for each unit. So combine that together, $4,500 for the 5 units. And we get about $2,100 per unit on each of these 60, 90, 120 day bookings, because it's built the way that people want it built. It's got everything they need, plus even a little bit extra. It's clean. It's simple. It's got the kitchen. It's got the little bit of, a little color to it to be a little bit more attractive. And what did we say we need? We need a kitchen. We need a living room. We need a TV, and we need a washer dryer. Washer dryer right here. They've got it. They've got everything they need. Plus, oh, by the way, pet friendly. Bring your pets. Now, the only problem it doesn't have a backyard, but it does have this front yard. The only problem with not having the backyard, good thing is, actually I should say, is it's just a bonus. Most of our nurses, again, because I know my avatar, say, hey, it's not a deal breaker. It would have been nice to have a backyard, but not a deal breaker. So this is how we know who we're serving. And I'm sure the chat's probably going off. I'm sure probably some questions, but again, guys, I don't see that right now. I will get to that here in a second. So understanding my avatar has completely helped us to know what properties we're looking for. And let's just talk about the next concept of increasing your occupancy. How about what will people even pay for? So I just want to just tell you, I'm going to show you 2 things. I'm going to show you the list that I made based on what I know and what my experience is. And then once again, I asked ChatGPT, what do people pay for? And after making my own list, it's pretty cool to see just exactly how alike it is compared to ChatGPT. So privacy and space, right? All of the things that we just talked about. I'm a nurse. I'm coming into town with my dog. I just want privacy. I want some space. I'm coming into town with my family. I want some spacious quarters so that we're not squeezed all into a tiny space, right? Convenience, things that are going to make life easy for me. I've got a washer dryer on site. I don't need to go out and get that. I've got the pool on site, so I don't have to go to the community pool and pay the extra fee. I've got some of the games on site, so I don't have to bring my board games for my kids. I've got some of those already here. Predictable and secure, right? They want to know, is this host tenured, right? And is this listing doing well? Does it have 4.85 stars or better? Are they a super host? Are the reviews solid? Is this in a great neighborhood? All the things that would make me feel like before I even book, I have confidence that this is going to be good. Safety. I already talked about that. Is the neighborhood nice? Do you have all the extra things like the fire extinguisher, the sprinklers inside, the carbon monoxide detector, unique amenities? Again, like if they need the pool, go get the pool. Don't add the pool. Don't go buy a place and then say, well, now I'm going to add a pool because I found it. No, go buy the place or get the arbitrage or get the coasting deal with the pool if you know that right away. A great example is Phoenix, Arizona. If you get a place in Phoenix, Arizona, and it doesn't have a pool, and that's even transitioned to common to today is now a heated pool. If you don't have something with a pool or a heated pool, you might as well just save your money because you're not going to make money in Phoenix. Now, some of you might be like, well, I'm still doing well. You're the outlier. Okay. If you're doing well in Phoenix without a pool, great job. I want to know all about your secrets, but that's the exception. That's not the rule. Location, right? If I know that everyone is traveling to my area by car, I probably want to be closer to one of the major highways. If I know that most people are traveling to my area by plane and the area within and around the airport is safe, I probably want to do the airport. If it's not safe, then I just want to say, well, what would be probably more of a reason that people would want to come? And if it's family, I know a lot of families are by this school or in this school district. And for that reason, we'll go ahead and put our property in this school district or find that lead in this school district. So location is major. And, like I said, I asked ChatGPT, they said location, cleanliness, amenities, comfort, communication. Does that sound pretty much like everything I just talked about? So robots say that I'm right on this one. If you haven't looked at ChatGPT yet, by the way, you definitely should. It'll blow your mind. All right. So what should you do with this information, right? You just got a lot of information and we're still just on step number 1. And I am realizing that we're doing pretty good on time, actually. There's a lot of stuff that you're getting right now. So what should you actually do with this information? Well, it's pretty simple. Include it in your listing. You guys, it's crazy to me. The number of listings that I look at on Airbnb that don't have the information that needs to be on there. I just picked up a new client. He's got a beautiful 3-bedroom with a pool and a hot tub house. He has 16 photos of his listing. Not a single one of them have the bedrooms. I'm going to say that again. Not a single one of those photos have the bedrooms. He's got bunk beds. Oh my gosh. Of course it's going to attract families. But if I don't know that you have bunk beds, how am I got to message you to find that stuff out? How about, and then he told me, oh, by the way, the hot tub doesn't work. Oh my gosh. The hot tub doesn't work. You don't have that anywhere in your listing. What if I went on and instantly booked your place and I find out through messages the day before that the hot tub doesn't work? I'm going to be furious and you're going to get a bad review. What does that mean? That means you get a bad review, less occupancy, less revenue. Include this stuff on your listing in detail. Guys, this is a screenshot of one of my listings. It's actually the one that you just looked at. We're going deep. We're going deep into all this and we're giving detailed information. Look at this. Every single bedroom, we showed the exact types of beds. We tell you that there's 2 couches. There's also a queen air mattress. The 2 full bathrooms have a toilet plus shower, and a half bathroom has the toilet and sink only. Fully equipped with kitchen, or the fully equipped kitchen, cozy dining room, spacious lounge with HD TV, has the pool, fire pit, barbecue, swings, laundry room, gorgeous outdoor view, stunning fully fenced backyard, right? I'm just even in that. I don't have to ask, hey, is that 3rd bathroom a full bathroom? No. Hey, look, the last bathroom is a half bathroom. It's toilet and sink only. I'm answering those questions. Then we go bedroom by bedroom, literally bedroom number 1. Here's what the layout is. Bedroom number 2. Here's what the layout is. Bedroom number 3. And oh, by the way, here was a review recently from Annette and how she said the host was very accommodating. We're putting all this stuff that people might be thinking about, right? They're thinking about all these things: privacy, space, convenience, predictability, security, safety, unique amenities, location. Can you please tell me all of that without me having to message you? If I have to message you, here's the moral of the story. If a guest has to ask, if guests have to ask, they won't. I just booked an Airbnb with my wife to San Diego. I said, babe, what do you want in this? She said, as long as it's got a king bed and a place for us to be able to put Madeline in her dock at night. And it's got a microwave and a fridge for us to hold milk and heat up the milk, then I'm good. All right. So what did I do? I opened up 6 Airbnbs that were in my price range. And I then said, okay, which one of these has a microwave and a fridge? I saw a bunch with fridges. I saw a few that I couldn't find microwaves. What did I do? I'll tell you what I didn't do. I didn't ask them, hey, do you have a microwave? No, I just closed that one out and I looked at the next one. Cool, this one has a microwave. You're one of my top 3. And we got it down to a top 2, and we made a decision based on which one felt like it would be the most spacious and the most comfortable stay for us based on the layout. That is the decisions that people are going through. They don't want to go on and start asking you a bunch of questions. And if they do, they've got too much time on their hands. Most people don't have enough time on their hands to do that. So get rid of all the questions, give them the answers. And I'm telling you, if you're descriptive, very, very detailed, you'll already start to see your occupancy go up. So summary and increasing occupancy. Define your avatar, literally write it out, set up the property based on your avatar's needs. Be extremely descriptive in your listing, include things that people will pay extra for, and include pics of past or text of past reviews. That's huge. And again, a confused buyer equals no sale. These are the bread and butter of increasing your occupancy. And for a lot of you, again, a lot of you might be like, okay, where's the secret sauce? We're getting there. Give me a second. Some of you have been like, oh my gosh, I just got a bunch of gold out of that. And some of you might have been like, well, this is review, but it's good review. And oh, by the way, that's a really good thing that I just picked up there. No matter where you're at, I hope that so far this is valuable, because we're going to now move into how to increase revenue. And it's very simple. It's all about your pricing strategy. If you want to increase revenue, you've got to have the best pricing strategy. And I've got an amazing story to share with you here. This is a case study of John and Bethany. If you even want to check out their journey, B Flip Davis, BE Flip Davis is their Instagram. They have been publicly sharing a bunch of stuff about their journey. They've been doing great. They just started in February. But here's the deal. John and Bethany, their pricing strategy, it wasn't so hot. On Price Labs, we looked at a few things. I looked at their nightly rates. I looked at their last minute discounts. I looked at their orphan dates. You might be like, what's an orphan date? I'm not going to get into that right now, but I looked into their far out bookings. I looked into their competitor calendar. I looked into all these things, and they were well overpriced for a brand new listing. But here was the thing. They thought they were doing well. Why did they think they were doing well? Well, they listed it and immediately got 2 bookings, and it was for the next 14 days, and they were stoked. Well, what they didn't realize is, because they're in a place that's not so saturated, they're in a pretty opportunistic location, their property was one of the only ones that was available last minute. So they got the price they wanted at a very opportune time. But for sustained growth and great revenue, we had to change their marketing strategy. So here's what it looked like. This was the before, this was the after. I jumped in there, and again, here's all the things I went over: nightly rates, last minute bookings, orphan dates, far out bookings, and really dove into the competitor calendar. We looked at different properties that were similar to theirs. We said, okay, is yours better? Is yours worse? Is yours better? Is yours worse? Is yours better? Is yours worse? We looked at all that, and we came to the conclusion, very simple change. And I should have included this on the photo. $300 was the minimum here. $450 was the base here. $750 was the max. All we did is we decreased both $450 and $300 by $25. So do the math there. That's like what? A not even 10% discount here and not even a 7% discount here. Very small amount. As you could see, when we had this conversation, this was actually on Wednesday. They didn't have any bookings for the future. They were kind of like, okay, we did well for the first 14 days, but we're kind of wondering what's going on. So I said, just trust me on this. We need to change your last minute discounts. So last minute, $495 went down to $281. You're like, well, Kyle, you told me you're not going to change the price in order to get bookings. Well, we have to just make sure we even have the right pricing strategy first. So we weren't even on ground zero when it came to John and Bethany. I had to get them to ground zero. We only changed 300 down to 275. And on the weekends, again, we only went down about, what is that? 10, 15, about 15%, maybe a little bit more on the weekends. But I told them, just watch what happens maybe in the next few days, and then let's readjust. About 4 days later, here's what they sent me. Kyle, we had $3,200 in bookings on our last call. Check it out today. Holy cow, $15,000 of bookings happened over the next few days. And I said, that's all for one property. That's incredible. I guess, wink, wink, the pricing strategy must have helped. This was the perfect proof of concept that if you don't have the right pricing strategy, then you will think that Airbnb is broken. You will think that, just like everyone who's saying, oh, it's the Airbnb bust, right? You will think that is the case. John and Bethany showed that their pricing strategy, they were willing to change it. And because of that, and they actually sent a new update today, just 1 day later, because, well, actually, sorry, this would be 2 days later because they texted me this on Tuesday. 2 days later, they're up to over $21,000 now. And that's, again, over just 1 week of changing this. So let's summarize increasing your revenue, okay? So the pricing strategy is the key. And I'm not going into the how, but here's just a few bullet points. And here's why I'm not going into the how. All right, so this right here, this is not just some formula that I use that I said, okay, here, John and Bethany, this is exact formula that you use, and it works for every single property across the US. It's not how this works. You have to be able to learn the process of understanding what does a competitor's calendar look like, what does that competitor listing look like, and how can I use that information to decide what my nightly rates are going to be. We have to use critical thinking in order to make this happen. It wasn't just a, hey, base price across the board, minimum night stay across the board, nothing like that. It had to be a process of critical thinking. So your pricing strategy, just first of all, you need to be using Price Labs. If you're not using Price Labs, and stay to the end here, I might have a little bit more information about that. Once again, wink, wink. If you're not using Price Labs, you are losing money and or losing sleep because you're wondering, am I getting the best prices? Or you're spending so much time on your pricing that it's taking you away from your day-to-day living life. You should have aggressive last minute discounts. Here's my idea on this. You can never make money on a day that wasn't booked. You can never go back and make money on a day that wasn't booked. If I did not get booked yesterday, I can never make up for that. I can't be like, well, at least tomorrow I can double my prices to make up for that. No, people will only pay for what it's worth. So if I miss a day, I miss money. So I'm a big believer in high occupancy because of that reason. So competitive prices within the next 90 days, most people, their booking window is between 2 to 4 weeks for like a metro area, and then probably about 2 to 3 months for like a vacation area. So for the next 90 days, for that reason, that's where a lot of people are going to get their bookings. Keep your calendar competitive. And then everything past 90 days, you go and have fun with whatever you want to do. And that's what's great about Price Labs, is that it allows you to set all those parameters. And then in Price Labs, use neighborhood data and competitor calendar to define your base and minimum prices. All right. You're probably wondering how we do this. I'm going to get into that here in a little bit. Bonus, use your avatar to know the minimum night stay restrictions to implement. For example, with my avatar, if I'm looking at a 1-bedroom or a studio, right? I told you that my nurses are the mainstay there. Am I going to have a 2-night minimum 90 days out? Absolutely not. Why would I not do that? Well, I need to have at least a 30-night minimum, probably 30 days out, at minimum 60 days out. Because if someone goes and books 2 days, call it 35 days from now, and then the next day someone says, hey, I'm looking for 120 days. I'm a nurse, and I'm looking for the date range that person just booked for 2 nights, but I'm looking for 120 days. Guess who's not going to show up in the search results when that nurse who's looking to book for 120 days at full price guess who's not showing up in the search results? It's you. So instead, we, for our studios and 1-bedrooms, say, okay, for 30 days out, it's a minimum of a 30-day stay. Everything within 30 days, now we're doing about a 5 to 7 day stay just to try to fill in the gaps because we need bookings. So that's how I know that, because I know my avatar. If you are in a high vacation area and you notice, oh my gosh, everyone comes here Friday through Sunday, and then no one else comes here Monday through Thursday, well, then I probably would want to say 3-night minimum on the weekends and a 1 or 2-night minimum on the weekday, just so I can fill in some of those gaps on the weekday. Those are the things that you can start looking at by understanding your avatar. All right. And number 3, how can I increase my occupancy with the Airbnb algorithm? Well, what I want to talk about is just the algorithm in general. I've got 5 steps here for the algorithm that you will either use as a refresher or are going to learn right now. And I'm going to tell you, you treat these like the holy grail. There's a lot of stuff out there. Let me just back up for a second. There's a lot of stuff out there about no cleaning fees. I just did a video about this as well on my YouTube channel. My no cleaning fee test did not work. Some people will say that I didn't give it enough chance. Some people will say that that was good enough for them to not try it too. Meanwhile, you got guys like Sean Rockagich and Tony Robinson talking about no cleaning fees, and it's working for them. Hey, it's all up to you guys how you want to decide if you want to do it. But what I know is that the actual Airbnb algorithm, the core of the Airbnb algorithm, the things that matter the most, has not changed that much over the last 5 years. They might have a few minor changes here and there that can be slightly manipulated, but the core of it is the 5 things I'm about to share with you. Number 1 is complete all of your listings. Every single box completed, every single box checked. So if it says you have this amenity, you have either an X or a check mark next to it. If it says what's the neighborhood description, you fill that out and you fill it out in detail, right? You are going for the overachiever status right now on completing a listing. Most of you don't even know that when you publish your listing for the very first time, you've only completed about 40% of a listing. You still have to go back in and edit and add things that it didn't allow you to do the first time around. Completing a listing, very first thing out of the gate. Number 2, consistently do daily edits. If I go onto mine right now and my team has a modified next to it and it says 2, 3, 4 days ago, I'm calling them out and saying, why aren't we editing this? You have to have a daily edit on your profiles. Why? Because Airbnb sees that you're editing something, a price, a photo, a period, a grammatical thing, a moving a photo around, all these things. Airbnb sees that and says, wow, this is a very active host. They actively are trying to get their property booked because they're editing their listing. If you don't do that, you're missing out on a major part of the Airbnb algorithm. Number 3, photos. They need to be professional. They need to be a certain number, and they need to be in a easy to digest order, right? Right here, you saw this from my other listing. It's ordered by living room, by full kitchen, by bedroom, by full bathroom. There's a way to do that in Airbnb. And right here, you can see they're all professional. They're well lit. They're spacious. It's wide angle lenses. Some of them are close-up artsy photos, but most of them just show space. And then on a 1 bedroom, I'm typically not going to give more than about 25 to 30 photos. Less than that, not enough. More than that, kind of overkill. I have this happy range based on the number of bedrooms and the number of amenities that I have. All right. Number 3, title. It needs to be SEO friendly. Now, I'm not going to go into deep specifics of this, but here's an example of one title. Clovis house, pool, fire pit, barbecue, playhouse, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Okay. Notice how it's not the Clovis Oasis. Bring your friends and family, right? Like it's not trying to be markety. It's trying to be SEO friendly. What are people searching for in your area? Stephanie is searching for a house in Clovis, and it needs to have a pool. And it needs to have a barbecue. Oh my gosh, look at this. I found one with a pool, a barbecue. It also has a fire pit and a playhouse. That's legit. Let's take a look at that one. Boom, I'm clicking on it. All right. This is the way that people search. So instead of getting into this idea of, oh, it needs to be catchy, it needs to have that really cute name, it needs to be branded, I'm telling you, that's all fine, but do it after people have gotten onto your profile, onto your listing. Drive them to your listing with what they're searching for. keep them on your listing with that branding, with that fluff, with that, exciting stuff that you want them to know about in the way that you write and the way that you do all of your writing. That's a little bit against the intuition of what most people think when they get into Airbnb and short-term rentals, but that's the idea. And the things that you can take from this: location and amenities, right? Type of house, location, amenities. It's in Clovis, it's a house, and it's got the pool, fire pit, barbecue, playhouse. Those are the amenities. And oh, by the way, it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, which if you actually go on to Airbnb and search, it's actually sometimes tough to figure out unless you click on the listing how many beds and baths that it has. So that's why we put it in the title. All right. Number 4 and number 5, we actually kind of already went over. So I'm just going to pass over this. Description plus more is what the plus means. Well-written, extensive, and answer common questions. And then number 5, it just comes down to your reviews. I mean, it's just as simple as that, guys. A lot of people want to say, oh, it doesn't really matter your reviews. People are going to book anyway. Or, oh, you have to be 5 stars. No, actually, the 4.85 to 4.95 is kind of that sweet spot that people are like, hey, there's some honest reviews. And then under 5 stars, under 4.85, there's just way too many options out there that are above 4.85. So I'm just really not competitive anymore if I'm below 4.85. But if I'm above, if I'm 4.9 or 4 or 5 stars, people are kind of like, that almost seems too perfect, right? There's that inside voice of almost that sounds interesting. I wonder if these people are even giving honest feedback. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Go for the 5-star perfect, but the data shows that 4.85 to 4.95 typically will do even better than sometimes the full 5-star. All right. So we just went over those 3 things, but here's a bonus for you. If you are sitting here and you're like, man, I do all this, Kyle, I didn't learn anything. This was a waste of my time. Well, I'm sorry. But even if that is where you're at, stay for this last thing. If you have identified your avatar, if you have been doing the Airbnb algorithm, if you have the most killer pricing strategy, if you have done all of these things to make sure that you are getting the highest occupancy, but you still are just not getting booked and you can't figure it out. You've gone to your insights and you're looking at it and you're like, what the heck? I'm not even getting views anymore, or I'm getting views, but it's just not really getting a lot of bookings. Well, when this happens for us, here's exactly what we do. We make a duplicate listing. We make that same listing again. Why? Because, to quote Barney Stinson, new is always better. New is always better. Guys, when Airbnb sees a new host or a new listing, they always want it to get booked. Have you ever heard of anyone who just jumped into Airbnb and they're like, hey, I'm in a really, and I'm excluding let's just call it Timbuktu, right? The middle of nowhere. I'm talking about a popular area. Let's even just say Phoenix, Arizona. Have you ever heard of anyone starting a business in Phoenix, Arizona with Airbnb and say, you know what, I listed my property, but I can't believe it. I've been up for, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I haven't gotten a single booking. I've never heard that before. Why is that? Because Airbnb sees, oh my gosh, it's a new host. Oh my gosh, it's a new listing. Let's pump them out. We want them to get booked. If they get booked, then they're going to want to go and get more bookings. They're going to want to go and get more houses, and we make more money because we're Airbnb. Meanwhile, people like me who have tons of properties that have been up there for a while, we have to do a little bit more of the algorithm things. But if those don't work, we just remake the listing. We remake it. I don't care if it's got 150 reviews and 99% of them are 5-star reviews. I'm still going to remake it. I don't care about my reviews. I care about my bottom line. That's what I care about. So, and by the way, we'll even keep that other listing live because it's just extra set of eyes. So there's your bonus. Hopefully that just was a value bomb drop for you. And what I want to go into now, before we go into the freebies and the offer is, there's a few questions still left unanswered, right? And that is well, what's a duplicate listing and how do you actually implement that? That's the biggest question I get is, well, what do you mean you do a duplicate listing? Like the exact same thing? And then how do you match up the calendars and are the prices the same? Those are some of the things you're probably wondering. What software can help me with my listings? Pricing, automating? How about just in terms of like identifying what's wrong with my listing? What is there a software out there that can help me? Yeah, there is. What's the best pricing strategy? How can I learn that pricing strategy? You know, I told you that it's a process, right? So how do I learn that process? How can I master the Airbnb algorithm? I only went over 5 things. There is tons of things on the algorithm that you need to know about. That was only a small amount of them. How can I learn which amenities are the best for my guests, for the people that I'm hosting? How can I learn how to use Price Labs? Man, if you're not learning that, if you haven't already learned that, you need to. And how can I rely less on Airbnb to get bookings? How can I start getting more through other channels or even through my own direct bookings? And I'm going to tell you, I'm about to give you an answer, a resource that will answer all those things for you. But before I do, I just want to say congratulations. You made it to the end here. I'm giving you a free 30-day trial plus an onboarding training with Price Labs to get started with Price Labs. That's going to be a link that is in your inbox at the top of the hour. So it should be there in about 4 minutes. That will be in your inbox. You get that. You can get started with Price Labs. If you already got started with Price Labs, that's okay. You probably already know where you're at with this. But if you haven't gotten started, free 30 days and an onboarding training. Now, here's my offer. I told you in the beginning, I'm going to give you a freebie, and I'm also going to give you an offer that is going to ask you for no money today, and then we'll get into Q&A here. Thank you for your patience. I hope this has been valuable for you guys tonight. You probably heard me talk about this. Maybe this is the first time that you've actually seen it, or maybe you've seen me talk about it, and now maybe is the time that you're kind of thinking, hey, maybe I should give this a try. My 6-figure formula. It's a private membership that's, to me, the most affordable way to learn and to grow a 6-figure Airbnb business. It's education plus access. It's community, and it's software discounts. So here's everything you get. What does this 6-figure formula come with? It's a short-term rental kickstart course. This course I used to sell for $1,500. No joke. Used to sell for $1,500. And here's exactly what it looks like. I'll bring it up for you. It's got everything that you could think of from starting your business to growing it, to how to talk to landlords, how to learn the Airbnb algorithm. I'll just go through a few of these things here. So Module 1, business foundations. Module 2, financing your deals. Module 3, how to define and do an evaluation of a deal. Module 4, how to market to landlords and be able to do this without owning the property. Module 5, how to pitch to those landlords so that you can get their properties without owning the property. How to build your team. How to set up a listing. How to manage your listing and automate that listing. And then lastly, how to scale and expand your business. All of that is in the course. Plus, we also have over $5,000 of value in business tools. And those business tools are, just a few things: contracts, lists, templates, scripts, calculators. I'll give you a quick look on this while I'm here, and you can just kind of digest that. But this is all the stuff that we use in our business and that I've developed over the last, 4 or 5 years. You get it all at your disposal. So our 5-step for 5-star guest communication. It's an actual script. You can just copy, paste this, put it into your Airbnb auto messenger, and boom. The chances of you getting 5-star reviews, you've got the template right there. All this stuff is right here for you, including how to even talk and do an arbitrage script, checklists, up the yin yang. Here's just a few of the checklists, right? Setup, cleaning, checkout, check-in, all this stuff right here for you. All these things that we're using in our business. Next up, what else do you get with the 6-figure formula? You get a private Facebook community, which now has over 400 members. Think about that. 400 paying, serious members who want to grow their business. Not Airbnb masterminds, which I also own and has a bunch of hoodlums in there that just want to make fun of people. This is a private community of people that want to lift each other up. You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. That's what community is all about. So when you get in this community, you're going to see, you ask a question, people want to help you. And that's going to make you want to help people too. I put that at about $500 a month. That's what the value I say. Every single week, I do a Q&A. Usually, if I do an hour of my time for one person for a one-on-one coaching session, that's $500 an hour. So 4 hours a month, I basically say this is about $2,000 a month of value that you get from me. Every single Monday, you submit your questions. I go on Facebook Live, I answer them, and you get that continued education. Also, every week, I bring my podcast guests on here and I ask them all the podcast questions. Plus, I keep them on after that podcast to stay on there and to get your questions answered. You have questions for Mike, who does hotels. He's there on the podcast. You get to ask him those questions. This is amazing, exclusive, and I don't know anyone else is doing this, access to high-level operators. I put that at about $1,000 a month. And then this is my favorite part. We have 12 software discount members. Just added on a few more that I don't have on here. I went out and I negotiated with each one of these software companies and their CEOs. Hey, you need to give us the best prices for our operators. We have the best operators in the business. We have over 400 members in our group. You need to give them the best discounts because they're going to use your stuff exclusively. So Price Labs, AirDNA, HostAway, NoiseAware, RankBreeze, StayFi, all these ones that you see, plus Breezeway, and we just added one other, SCR Insights. All of them come with exclusive discounts that they don't offer to anyone else. And if you're a part of the six-figure formula, you get these discounts. If you're not, you don't get the discounts. So all this together, everything you get, the course, business tools, private community, weekly Q&As, podcasts, access to our podcast guests, software discounts, that's a total monthly value about just over $10,000 a month. You are obviously, I'm never going to ask anyone to pay $10,000 a month. That's crazy. But what I usually do is I only ask for $49 a month. Believe it or not, all that for $49 a month. Yes, it's crazy. But tonight, I told you and I promised you, and I'm keeping that promise. I'm not asking for a single dollar. Your price tonight is a free 3-day trial. Now, let me be very specific. Just like anything, right? You sign up for a Netflix free 3-day or 7-day trial. They're going to ask for your credit card information. You're going to pay after that 7 days is up. Same thing here. If you don't cancel within 3 days, you will get charged on day 4. I have to be very open and honest about that. Okay. I can't set that up any other way. You have to do it that way in order to be a part of the free 3-day trial. And I'm going to give you that option to do that here in a second. But another add-on, by the way, this offer ends tonight at 11:59. So this free 3-day trial, you can get until 11:59 tonight, not any time after that. An extra add-on, if you order this before we end the call, which is in 13 minutes, then you will get a free VIP video library. It's a culmination of all the things that I've ever taught or coaches that have been on my team and have taught to our students, from sales to interior design, marketing, direct bookings, co-hosting, arbitrage, getting extra income in your properties, all these different subjects. Typically, this is $147. Tonight, you're going to get that for free before this call ends. So only if you order this before the call ends in the next now 12 minutes will you get this for free. So does this work? Well, let me go ahead and show you what other people are saying about it. But let me, first of all, open it up here. So you should, let's see here, start offer. You should see this has just popped up on your screen. Let me start this free trial and show you what you're going to get as an option. They're going to ask you for your mailing address. I'm going to show you why here in a second. It's actually for swag. I'm going to show you a little bit of our swag here too. And then it's going to be the free 3-day trial, which once again, it's going to tell you that if you do not cancel this trial before day 4, you will be charged. You're going to get the free VIP video library as well. But then there's 2 things here that you could add on as an extra add-on if you do so choose. And it's an incredible discount right now. It's our company manual and our VA course. So if you have a business right now of over 20 units, you probably already have VAs. Do you have a company manual though? Are you treating this like a business? This is something that, if you think about it, any big company, right? You go and start working for Best Buy. What are they going to do? They're going to put you through company training, and it's going to be accompanied by a manual. That's exactly what our company manual is. I made this. You get to download it. It's a template that has all of our systems already. And if you want to change your systems to be in there, you can go ahead and do that. But it's downloadable. It's nearly 100 pages, systems, templates, trainings, that I personally use in my business. This company manual is designed to give your team the full power to run your business without you babysitting them. And I can tell you that has been exactly the results of me making a company manual. It took over 100 hours for me to create. If you want to watch the video above right here, you can do that. If you even think you're ever going to need a company manual, that means you're bringing in VAs, you're bringing in cleaners, you're bringing in a chief of operations, you're bringing in all these people that are going to need ideas of how to do their job without bugging you. You might as well get it now because it's $197 for you right now with the discount rather than $547. And then the virtual assistant course, perfect pair with the company manual, usually $347. Tonight, it's just $97. And that's going to teach you how to hire VAs in the Philippines, train them, onboard them, and avoid a bunch of turnover, because that's the biggest issue people have with VAs is turning over a bunch of VAs. All right, so that's the explanation of everything there. You can go click on the offer, get it started, have some fun. Can't wait to see you in the community. One last thing before we get to Q&A, and I realize this is going a little bit beyond, so I will go ahead and do a little bit more time for Q&A. Let me give you one quick show of one of our most successful students to ever come through. He's going to talk a little bit about the six-figure formula. Let me play this video.
My name is Lame Kinikini. I currently have year to date 50 plus properties, and I've grossed over 800,000 on Airbnb. I started this course February 12th, and in 6 months, I've managed to build my portfolio to what it is through Kyle's course. I can tell you from when I decided to take this course in February to now, my life has drastically changed. Kyle's course gave me, I'd say there's two big parts of this course that this course will provide you. There's an emotional piece. There's one that will allow you to feel validated in just taking the jump. That's because you're surrounded by like-minded individuals. You have a community in place. You have a place to be able to go get answers and be able to see other people's businesses and learn from their mistakes. So that's the huge emotional piece that this course provided me with. But then on the second side, the other side of it was the more practical, strategic, like business sense that he gives you and provides you. Everything from how to comp properties to how to find landlords and investors, how to operate your business with VAs, the playbook. There's a whole list of just really practical things that will help you. Having both those things together in tandem over the course of the last 6 months, I've been able to build literally $1 million company because of the things that I've learned in this course. There are so many softwares, but not even just like integrating these softwares, but really the strategies behind like what Kyle will teach you in terms of pricing. Like dynamic pricing is a huge one, right? A lot of people know about it, right? But Kyle's course will literally give you like very specific rule sets to help you like actually actively use the software to its best and highest potential. And so and that's just one of many, right? Turnover B&B, hospitable. These are all things that I was put on through this course. And not only, it wasn't just a turn on and it starts working. It was literally like, hey, like this is how you utilize this tool effectively. It's not just plug and play. If you're on the fence, if you're thinking about something like this, I'll tell you right now, this is an opportunity to drastically change your life if you're willing to put in the work and to learn. All the tools to do what I've done are in this course. It's really just up to you to kind of listen and to apply and to go to work. So that's what I'd have to say.
Okay, time to get to the Q&A here. But as promised, I did tell you that you have to put your mailing address in there if you're checking out, because we have swag. Check it out. We got the hat, tumbler. I've got a shirt right here. So right away, if you get a listing, you're getting a free hat. That's right, just one listing. If you're even just listing a bedroom on Airbnb, you're a part of the six-figure formula, you get a Listing Legend 6FF hat. We do monthly contests where we give away shirts. And if you're part of the group for more than 3 months, then we give you a 6FF tumbler. So, and that's just the start of it. We just started doing swag. Stuff's awesome. We have people posting about it all the time in the group of how they just got theirs and they love it. So without further ado, if you have questions about this, now is the time to ask, because I'm going to back this up to 5:20 now. So we do have an extra 5 minutes. You have 11 minutes to decide if you want to jump on that offer so you can get the free video library. If you don't do that in the next 11 minutes, you will be able to still do it until tonight for the free 3-day trial. You just won't get the VIP video library. All right, let's get to the questions. Brian Porter, what about properties at 6 bedrooms or more? I'm going to need a specific question there, Brian. Like, do they work? Is that what you're asking? Because you obviously were asking a question that was applicable at the time when I was going over something. But if you can please be more specific with that question, I can go ahead and answer that. But go back to that, resubmit that question, give me an idea of what exactly you're asking there. Okay. Next up, Nina says, so do you recommend using point form versus written in a paragraph when describing your property, beds, bath? Yeah, I do recommend, like, every sentence is a new line. You don't have to do bullets. But I do recommend like a new line. It's just easier to read, right? It's more user friendly. When you just see this long run on paragraph, it's like, well, it's tough for me to find what I'm looking for. When it's like bullet, 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 it's a little bit easier for people to understand. So yes, I do recommend that. Have you used Chat GPT in your listings? We haven't actually used it in our listings yet, but I've tested it out and it works pretty well. I've found with Chat GPT though, Sharon, that you have to be really specific, right? Don't just be like, hey, make a description for a 3-bedroom house that's next to Disneyland. You have to be like, hey, on Airbnb, make a description under 500 characters for a 3-bedroom house with an indoor pool. It's heated, has 3 bedrooms. Each bedroom has a queen size bed. The 2 bathrooms are full bathrooms. And it's a 2-minute drive to Disney, and in a cul-de-sac, quiet neighborhood, right? Like, you need to tell it those things, and then boom, it'll spit it out. It won't be perfect. You just need to read it, change things where you can, and then you can go ahead and publish it. So yes, you could do that for description, titles, the neighborhood, the space, anything that needs a little bit more oomph. I would especially do it for like welcome messages to your guests. I would recommend doing that for sure. And Darinka says, do you adjust the calendar price per night, or do you offer discounts to change pricing for additional visibility? I got to read that one more time. Do you adjust the calendar price per night, or do you offer discounts to change pricing for additional visibility? So on Price Labs, so there's 2 things you can do here. Number one, you could price it on Price Labs, and then you can go into Airbnb and you can add additional discounts. And typically what that will do, because you do it through Airbnb, it'll like slash through and it'll show, hey, here's what it's usually priced at, and here's the actual price now because you do it on Airbnb. If you apply your discounts on Price Labs, or you change prices on Price Labs, then it won't show up as a discounted rate typically on Airbnb. So if our property is struggling, we'll go onto Airbnb and make those additional changes so that it has that slash through, rather than doing it on Price Labs. So Darinka, if the long story short of that, if it's a struggling property, we'll do a discount so that it shows the slash. If it's not a struggling property, then we'll just let Price Labs do its thing and just be happy with the bookings that we're getting. And then just one or several edits daily, just one. If you do one edit daily, if you literally have 2 spaces after a period and just delete one of those spaces and press save, that's an edit. It's crazy, right? So simple. Would you make a duplicate listing if you have 2 very different avatars? No, because the duplicate listing is the same property, the same setup. So if I have 2 very different avatars just because I make a second listing doesn't mean that one suddenly applies to the other avatar, right? Let's just use a really specific example. That one that I showed you that had the pool and the playhouse and the barbecue. If my avatar was businessmen, are they going to book a house with a pool, barbecue, and playhouse? Probably not, right? So just because I make a duplicate listing of that property doesn't mean I suddenly appeal to both the family mom and the businessman. The property's still the same. So what I would do is if I have properties that are next to each other, same street, same complex, I'd probably say, well, as long as this is the right size for my avatar, maybe I'll make this one for the nurse and this one for the male businessman, or I'll make this one for the family woman and I'll make this one for the bachelorettes, right? Like that can be your idea of serving two different avatars. Good question, Britt. Michael, will you lose reviews if you make a duplicate listing? Not if you keep that other listing active. I mean, that's what we do. We'll make a second listing, but we'll keep both active. Fong, I hope I said your name right there. Airbnb usually stacks your discounts, weekly plus monthly discount, which results in a very high discount. How do you fix that? I would just do a weekly discount. So if you want the weekly discount to be the same as the monthly discount, right? Then do a 10%, like let's just say you want 10%, do a 10% on weekly and then don't set one for monthly. And then you can see that even if they book for a month, it's still 10%. So that weekly just applies to the longer stays. I hope that answers your question, Fong. Let me know if you have a backup question on that. Amanda Truitt, she's in the six-figure formula. I know that. She just got her hat. Do you just link the calendars? Yes, we do. In Airbnb, you can export and import calendars. And when you do that, that's what you want to do on your duplicate listing so that you don't get double bookings for sure. Would you link the two calendars if the same is listed? I'm assuming it should be. Lori, I think I just answered that question. Would you link the two calendars if the same is listed? Yeah, exactly. I think it's the same question as Amanda just asked. Does 3-day trial end at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time on Sunday, or 72 hours from the time of the checkout? 72 hours from the time of checkout. So if you order at 5 p.m., 72 hours later is the end of your free 3-day trial, Joseph. Rich, I see you're posting an address. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. Let me know if you have a question there. When duplicating listings, it's from Michael or Mikkel. When duplicating listings, is Airbnb okay with that, or is it something that the host could get deactivated over? We've done it a lot. We've never been told that we're doing anything wrong. You could look up any policies, but Airbnb we've done it so many times. We've never been called out for anything. Rich says, I started in December, got bookings for 52 nights immediately, then 7 nights. Since then, nothing. Is this typical? Here's the downside, Rich, of getting a really long booking. When you get a really long booking, typically people aren't looking for your type of listing for those next 52 nights, right? So I'm in the algorithm, I'm getting looks, I'm getting views, boom, I get a 52-night booking. Well, my booking window for people is usually 2 to 4 weeks. So when people look for 2 to 4 weeks out, they're not seeing Rich's listing. So suddenly your listing stops getting views. Airbnb sees that and they're like, oh, it's not getting as many views, so we're going to drop it down. So after a lot of long-term stays, a lot of times people notice that there's a little bit of a downward spiral. So some of the things you can do, all the algorithm stuff, all the pricing stuff we talked about today. But again, if for some reason it's like, hey, we're a week out and we don't have any bookings, that's the time for the duplicate listing for sure. Yoshimi, are you concerned about having bookings that are longer than 30 days This is about squatters. Do you require a separate rental contract? Great question, Yoshimi. So depends on the type of person, right? If I'm a local person who is being displaced from my home because of a situation, yeah, I'm probably going to make you like break that up into multiple bookings so that I'm not hosting you on Airbnb according to the calendar for more than 30 days in a row. Or I might have you sign a contract outside of that just for a little more peace of mind. But if it's like a nurse who's coming from, Charlotte, North Carolina, and she's in town for 90 days and, she's got 7 5-star reviews and everyone raves about her, no, I'm not really concerned about that. That's my personal thing. So the riskier, right, the type of guest or the less amount of reviews, the more likely I'm gonna take additional steps. All right, we got time for 2 more questions, Stephanie and Reg. Stephanie says, do you have any advice on minimum age requirement? I have a condo and my HOA doesn't allow renters under 25, but Airbnb told me they do not allow age discrimination. Yeah, that's a tough one. Because it's not your age discrimination, it's the complex. Man, Stephanie, that's interesting because I've got to put some thought into that. Stephanie, I hope you're joining the 6-figure formula because that's a great question. And I'd like to kind of work through that with you, maybe on one of our Monday Q&As. But my initial gut reaction is that most of, if you, because I don't want you to get your listing deactivated. I'm just trying to think about ways that you could post it without Airbnb like seeing that in the text, maybe like on a photo of like HOA complex does not allow for bookings for age 25 and under. That might be something that you try, or like just take a photo of that part in the HOA regulations and just let it sit on your photos. That way you're not telling people, no, you can't do it, but you show it. That's my first thought. But my next thought is it the right property for you, right? If you own it, you're going to have to figure out a way. If you're looking to arbitrage or co-host, you might just have to pass and go to the next one. But also, like, are they allowed to age discriminate, right? Can you go to the HOA and be like, hey, maybe look up some sort of city or state law that shows that you can't discriminate for renters, and show that to the HOA and say, hey, as you can see, this is actually not something that you can make me do. I know a few people that in California, there's certain laws in the city that say, like, you can't discriminate a certain type of days for how many days someone can rent. And so, like, I know a few people who have gone and done arbitrage in HOAs, and for that reason, if HOA says you can't do under 30 days, they point to the California law saying, like, actually, you can't make up your own laws outside of California law. So, and typically the HOA has just been like, well, we're not going to fight this. All right. And Adam, Joseph, Samir, as I mentioned, 5:20 was the cutoff, and I've already told Reg that he's the last question. So I apologize. We're not going to be able to get to your questions. Best thing for you to do, jump in the 6-figure formula, ask your questions there. You can post them anytime in the Facebook group. Weekends are easy. I have a 2-night minimum. I think I might miss out on a 3-day or even 4-day weekends because people book the 2 first. What do you think of a 2-night minimum versus a 3-night minimum? On the weekends, I like 3-night minimum because most people will book me Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And I find it's a lot tougher to do a 2-night booking and then follow up with a 1-night booking and have a quality guest or even get that night booked. So we end up seeing higher occupancy, higher revenue, less issues because we do 3-night bookings on the weekends. That's in my Fresno market. In my Bass Lake market, we only do 2-night bookings because most of the time people are only staying there Friday and Saturday. Very rare that we get actual 3-night bookings consistently. Well, we get 3-night bookings, but just not consistently. All right. Thank you all for jumping on. Appreciate your time. I hope this was valuable. If you have any ideas of next time what you'd like to learn, feel free to email me, info@fearlesskyle.com, info@fearlesskyle.com. Send me a request on what type of topic you'd like me to go over. I'm always looking for great content for our webinars that we're typically doing just about every week. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.